Alaskans, wherever you are, welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show. Coming to you from somewhere in Alaska. This is the place where we talk about, you guessed it, Alaska. Where we keep the mainstream media on their toes and where we are standing up for what's right in a world run by leftists. You can find out more by heading over to mustreadalaska.com and also checking out the Must Read Alaska YouTube channel for some really great content. But first, let's get this party started.
Welcome, everybody, to the Must Read Alaska Show. I'm your host, John Quick, coming to you live from somewhere in Alaska. I hope everybody's having a phenomenal day today. We have a couple episodes today that are going to be special candidate spotlight episodes. If you're running for office in the state of Alaska, any office, and you want to be on the Must Read Alaska Show for 10 minutes or so, go to the Must Read Alaska Facebook page. On the top of the page, there's a pinned post. Click on that pinned post and it'll show you exactly what to do and how to book a 10-minute guest appearance here on the Must Read Alaska Show. We're doing candidate spotlights all summer and a little bit in the fall. And it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, everything in between, you're welcome on the show for 10 minutes. But without further ado, we have a very special guest today, somebody who's been on the show numerous times. Very happy to have her back in a candidate spotlight forum. Mayor Edna DeVries, welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show.
Hi, nice, thank you. And what an awesome idea to do this. And so thank you and Must Read very, very much for trying to make educated voters. And that's very important.
Yes, it is. I agree with you. So tell folks where you are running for re-election, what you're running for re-election on, and why you're running for office again.
Okay. I am currently the mayor of the Mat-Su Borough. I was elected 3 years ago in 2021 and November. And so my election this year will be November 5th. And so I'm running again for mayor. We do have term limits, so this will be my last term that I can run for mayor. And there's a number of projects that we have started and completed in the last 3 years that I'd like to continue those that we've started. One of the very first things that we did as soon as we were elected, and by we, I mean the Conservative Assembly, we had a switch in our assembly when I was elected, and also in the mayor's position. And that was to remove some of the very stringent restrictions on shooting ranges. Governor Dunleavy had started some shooting clubs in the high schools when he was on the school board many years ago. But then we haven't had an overzealous assembly for a period of time that didn't want any shooting ranges. And so we were able to undo those restrictions. I've been very fortunate, I believe, and very blessed to have a conservative assembly and a very insightful administration that's very concerned about keeping the Valley the very best place to live, work, and play. And we take that seriously every day. Some of the things that we have accomplished in the last 3 years, plus the shooting range, is we had a very successful Arctic Winter Games with over 2,000 participants and another 6,000 of visitors. And that was put on not only by our administration and our elected officials, but also like 10,000 volunteers. And it couldn't have been done without that. And one of the highest compliments we got was from a coach in Alberta that said to me, well, I think you guys should have it all the time. You've done such an amazing job. And when I told the host committee that, they all about fainted because they were like, oh, no, we don't want to have to do that. And roughly the Alaska has it every 10 years. So maybe in 10 years, it'll be a different story. One of the other things that has been something that's been laying dormant for 8 years was our port. Very little had been done down there. And as with any project that you have or any facility or infrastructure you have, if you don't maintain it and take care of it, it just disintegrates and decays. So we are now having ships come in. We have gotten 3 very nice in the millions of dollar grants. We're redoing the sleeves down there. We have applied for a grant we anticipate getting regarding being able to load and unload barges down there. We have appointed some new commissioners that are people that see the need for an export port in the south central area of Alaska. And so we're doing that. And so we're very happy about that. Also, as many of you know, we had a group of people that came and said, we do not want to use the voting machines. And the assembly agreed, the administration agreed. And so we do not have voting machines. We have paper ballots. And those paper ballots are counted at the precinct level. So there's no transporting of the ballots. So anybody could, switch out ballots or anything like that. And now we're getting requests from other areas saying, how did you do that? But it came from a group of people in the valley that just had that mission, and they continued to come. They even brought test times that they had done, how long it takes, because that was one of the questions people were saying that were against it. Oh, it's going to take too long. We're not going to have the results enough. So they before their presentation to the assembly did a little presentation on how long it took to count the ballots and that. And then, of course, we had to have more election workers, because the regular election workers, come at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. They're not finished till 8. And by that time, they're ready to say, well, we've done the job. So we have a number of volunteers from the borough that come in and pick up at 8 o'clock and then count the ballots. So again, it has been not only our administration in the borough and our elected officials, but it has been the public that has come alongside and said, we agree with you and we're going to follow through. And the other thing is, as we see on the federal level, that you can accomplish quite a bit, but then you need to continue to stand, because it can be wiped out very quickly. And so that's one of the other reasons that I am going to run again, is part of it is standing for the things that we have accomplished. And the other thing is for it to be an open forum for the public to be able to present ideas. Well, we do not muzzle our audience participation. The only 2 things I ask is that they can only do it for 3 minutes and that they be respectful. Now, we do allow clapping for if somebody's testifying at the end of their testimony. If people are in support, we do allow clapping, but we don't allow any booing. And we do not cut the mic off. This is an audience participation, in our opinion, my opinion, is part of their free speech and the right for them to address their elected officials. And no matter whether it's something you agree with or you don't agree with, you are there to hear the concerns of the public. And so that's another thing that we want to continue to stand for. And one of the other things we've tried to do is to be the borough more transparent. One of them is a software program called Problem Reporter that's on our website. So whether a constituent has a problem with a road or a stray dog or junk cars in the neighborhood, 24/7, they can go on there and they can do it anonymously, or they can put in their name and address. And if it's a road problem, it immediately, as soon as they hit submit, goes to the contractor, the road contractor, and to our assistant superintendent. And that's available whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning, they decide that the road hasn't been graded or the snow hasn't been removed, they can do that. And so that's been a big effort for transparency. The other thing is that because we do not have a borough-wide sales tax, I couldn't see any reason that we were requiring businesses, whether they were big or small, to have a borough license. And we had never used code enforcement to, to go out to a business and say, let me see your borough business license. And so we did away with that. Now, that was a little bit of a financial drain on the borough budget. But we were able to free up one full-time employee, although there were many employees working on the business license, and it was mostly all done online. And to free that person up to help with grants, as most of the municipal people know, there is quite a bit of money flowing and grants flowing from the feds. And we do have one grant writer, but we could see the need for another one. So those are some things that I feel we have accomplished in the last 3 years. And again, part of it is not only accomplishing it, but standing so that those things continue. So we wouldn't have a complete different administration that would say, no, we want to go back to the voting machines, or, no, we want to have business licenses or whatever. So anyway, that's my platform, and my website is www.ednadevries.com. I have a Facebook page for Mayor Edna DeVries, and I answer my phone. I have my office phone transferred to my cell phone. So whether you call at 7:30 at night or 7:30 in the morning, I will hear it, whether I'm in the office or not. So I appreciate your vote on November 5th. And thanks again to Must Read for giving me this opportunity.
Well, thank you so much, Mayor, for joining us here on the Must Read Alaska show. We will put all your campaign links into the podcast description for folks listening, watching, and reading Must Read Alaska. If you want to help keep the lights on, just go to mustreadalaska.com. On the right-hand side, there's a little donate button. Every $5, $10, $100 helps keep the lights on here at Must Read Alaska. You just listened to a candidate spotlight. Mayor Edna DeVries is running for re-election, and she has just been an awesome mayor here in the state of Alaska, model mayor for folks to model after what it looks like to stand firm in their values, but also give people the opportunity to talk about the things that they talk about, even though they may disagree with the current administration. She's very respectful, and she's accomplished a lot here in the state. So we really appreciate you joining us here on the Must Read Alaska show. Until next time, I'm John Quick from somewhere in Alaska. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.